Your Honors, the only time I've known army trucks to enter State House is during the coup, because the military does not participate in civilian activities. It is the police who have the responsibility of guarding the building. So it would be impossible for a military truck to be within the grounds of State House. They have no responsibility within there. So it would not enter that without raising major eyebrows as to what the military were doing within the State House compound.
And the people who work at State House, are they just PNU people or Kikuyu people? Are they only drawn from one part of society, or is it a multi-ethnically based staff?
Your Honor, it is multi-ethnic. I mean, if it is a police contingent, it's a police contingent, and it's the members of that particular contingent who are assigned there, and they all come from different communities, and the same applies to the staff. In fact, I think at the time, in reference, the head of the State House staff was a person from the Coast Province, was not a person from central Kenya.
Let's turn to another place in Nairobi now, the Nairobi Members Club, where Witness 4 alleged he went with others in the morning of the 3rd of January 2008 at breakfast time. Are you a member of the Nairobi Members Club?
Yes, Your Honors, I am a member of Nairobi Club. We call it Nairobi Club.
Is Ambassador Muthara a member of that club?
Your Honors, I'm not aware whether he is a member or not.
The 3rd of January 2008 is a particular date. Can you remember the events that took place on that date and where you were?
Your Honors, on the 3rd of January, I was basically at home. If I recall correctly, I think on the 2nd of January there had been calls for mass action within the city of Nairobi, or a 1 million man march. So for security reasons, really, I was basically at home, because it was not advisable to be out, because there was an issue of this so-called mass action of the demonstrations take place. If I were to leave and be recognized, it might be a security problem. So I was largely at home on that particular day.
Did you go to the Nairobi Members Club on that day?
No, Your Honors. On that day, like I said, I was largely at home as a result of the circumstances I've just put to you.
In the month of January 2008, did you go to the Nairobi Members Club at all?
No, Your Honors. I did not go to the Nairobi Members Club at all during the month of January. In fact, I don't think I've been there for a very long time.
I see the time. We'll get down to the club rules after the break, Your Honor.
There is the dining room. And then on the outside again of that main lounge, you have an open terrace with the sports fields then out in front of you.
And club rules concerning making phone calls inside the building?
Your Honors, there are very clear rules about mobile phone use in the club. There is a fine of 1,000 shillings if your phone rings, and a second time if your phone rings. There are also other penalties, which can even include suspension from the club if you operate a mobile phone within the premises of the club.
And the idea of four Mungiki walking in without hindrance into the club and making their way into the members' dining room?
The only way any Mungiki, or any person for that matter, would walk in through the front door is if they were members.
Any known Mungiki as members of the club?
I know no member of the club who has professed to be a Mungiki member.
So did this take place on the 3rd of January 2008, that you, with a group of prominent business people, political people, including Ambassador Muthara, have a discussion in the members' dining room with a group of Mungiki?
No, Your Honours, that is completely out of the question. There was never such a meeting with myself, Ambassador Muthara, Saitoti, with any Mungiki. In fact, I've never been to that club with either Ambassador Muthara or Professor Saitoti, for that matter.
At that time, on the 3rd of January 2008, Professor Saitoti and yourself being together at such an occasion, would that have happened?
Your Honour, that would not have happened. That definitely would not have happened. Like I said when I was giving an earlier explanation, we had our own challenges at the time because of the fact that, especially when it came to the parliamentary and the civic elections, we had our own challenges with different members vying for different seats, and there was a feeling in some areas that the KANU members who had come in were costing the seats of people who had already been in government with President Kibaki.
And just finally, on the 27th of January 2008, State House, Nairobi, this is the day of the Naivasha conflict. Were you present with Mungiki at State House on that day? On the day of the Naivasha attack?
Your Honours, I was not present at State House on that day with Mungiki, and like I had said earlier, Your Honours, I have not been to State House with any group of Mungiki ever. I have never been to the premises of State House with Mungiki. Not on the 27th, not on any other day.
Let's move to another allegation that they made, that millions of shillings in cash were being provided to these people. At one passage they say 30 million shillings was provided. 3 million shillings here, 3 million shillings there, on several occasions. I think you know the allegations. Did that ever happen?
Your Honours, that never happened. The allegations are that I was there on the 30th with 3 million shillings each to give to 30 people, which would have amounted to over 100 million shillings. Anybody who knows the Kenyan currency knows that is the equivalent of quite a number of suitcases. And Your Honours, you can imagine, coming from KICC, where I came from direct, with 4 or 5 large suitcases filled with currency. Definitely, within the search at the gate or the security, somebody would have definitely seen. How would I have carried that kind of money on my person? It is completely ludicrous, Your Honor.
I don't know whether the judges know this, but what's the largest denomination note in Kenyan shillings?
The largest denomination note is 1,000 shillings.
Well, we can do the maths with 30 million. But
100 million.
Yeah. And that's all I'll ask about that. I'd like to go back now because the prosecution have alleged as part of their case that you're the commander of the Mungiki. What's your comment upon that?
Your Honors, that is not true. To be a commander or anything in Mungiki, I would first of all have to be a member. And I have never been a member of Mungiki.
Can I just ask you now about the political relationship, if there was one, in the year 2002? That's when you challenged for the presidential elections. Is it right that the Mungiki backed you as a candidate in that election?
It is true to say that they did have a number of press conferences where they said that they were backing my candidacy for presidency, but Your Honors, that was never solicited for, and I never requested nor asked for their support in my political campaign.
Since that period of 2002, did you have a close personal relationship with the Mungiki?
Your Honors, I have never had a close personal relationship with Mungiki. Never.
Is it correct, or sorry, I'll withdraw that. In relation to the Mungiki, have you ever denounced them and not supported them in public?
Yes, Your Honor, I have. Severally, from the time they burnt my own effigy to the time when they even came out and supported. I also rejected and denounced them again at that stage. The time when there was also an involvement when they had a clash with other rival gangs in Nairobi, when myself and several politicians also denounced them. We have numerous times I can cite, Your Honors, where